Well, Bishop Carlo Maria Vigano is back in the news. Of course, we've talked about him quite a lot in the last few weeks when he was excommunicated by Bergoglio. Of course, we don't believe that means anything because Bergoglio is not the Pope, but that's a whole other story. We're not going to get into that. We do also think and believe very strongly that Bishop Vigano, formerly Archbishop, or known to the world as Archbishop Vigano, nuncio, he was a nuncio to the U.S. under Benedict XVI, and I think briefly perhaps under Bergoglio. Shortly after being excommunicated, or perhaps shortly before, was consecrated as a traditional Catholic bishop by Bishop Williamson, who was formerly of the SSPX. That is not officially known, has not been confirmed by Bishop Vigano or Bishop Williamson, but I have a very strong reason to believe it to be the case, so we will call him Bishop Vigano in this video. The tweet that we're going to read is from Candace Owens, who is a recent convert to Novus Ordo Catholicism, but one step at a time. Obviously, she's a talk show host, pundit, very well liked in the conservative area, I suppose. And interesting that she brings up a letter from Vigano, Bishop Vigano, about the Olympics and about, well, something in France. I'm going to let the good bishop describe it in his own words. We'll read a little bit of his article. And I would say, because I'm sharing his statement, that if you do feel so inclined, go and support him. Support him by your prayers for sure, but also monetarily, because he has been kicked out of the church as he knew it. He is standing for mostly conservative values, and I think he is also on his way to the truth. I don't know if he's there completely. Who cares what I think? But it is nice to see perhaps a true shepherd of the church coming to the forefront. I think everyone knows my opinion that I think we need to not just trust him implicitly. He needs to do a little bit more, maybe a lot more, to prove himself to us, since he was 60 years in the Novus Ordo, which is, as we all know, the hierarchy is the ape church that is just pretending to be Catholic. But anyway, here is Candace Owens. His Excellency Archbishop Vigano has written a statement condemning the Olympics, pointing to the fact that Brigitte Macron is a transvestite. The mainstream apparatus, which has protected this demonic state secret, will soon collapse under the weight of its own lies. So this is reading from Bishop Carlo Maria Vigano. I'm sorry, it's so small. Actually, let me go to his link. Apologies. Yeah, that's better. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can obviously read it if you want. I'm going to start here. The opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games have given scandal, not only because of the arrogant display of the ugly and the obscene, but because of the infernal subversion of good and evil. The insane claim to be able to blaspheme and desecrate everything, even what is most sacred, in the name of an ideology of death, ugliness, and lies that defies Christ and scandalizes those who recognize him as Lord and God. It is no coincidence that the one sponsoring this revolting carnival is an emissary of the World Economic Forum, Emmanuel Macron, who passes off a transvestite as his own wife with impunity, just as Barack Obama is accompanied by a muscular man in a wig. It is the reign of my mystification of falsehood, of fiction erected as a totem, in which man is disfigured precisely because he was created in the image and likeness of God. Oh my goodness. The good bishop is not holding back. I don't even know if I'm going to give my own opinions on this. You got to be really careful with these types of topics on YouTube. I'm really surprised Candace Owens is so upfront about it. There's many rumors that she was actually fired from the Daily Wire, partially because of her statements about Brigitte Macron. All I would say, and anyone who knows the story at all, it's very weird with with Macron and his wife, whatever she is. For sure, we know that they met when Macron was 14. She was his teacher or babysitter, I believe. And eventually they got married. She's, I believe, 30 years older than him. Sorry, the facts. I didn't look up the facts for this. It's wishy-washy. Apologies for that. I know people are going to get on to me about that. She's much older, I should say. I shouldn't say the years. She's much older. And that she did know him since he was 14, that I'm sure of. And that's strange. That's very strange. I'm sorry. That's not normal. And that's something that's shocking. That's shocking for a normal person, for the president of France. It's bizarre. And I don't know. I mean, and obviously his politics are terrible. He is he's a putrid human being who is, exactly, very much in line with the WEF, the World Economic Forum, one of the primary poster boys of it, along with, I don't know, it used to be Merkel, Bergoglio, etc. And if it's true what Bishop Vigano here is saying, would it surprise any of us? Would it? It's just, it's that mockery. It's that, they do it because they hate us. They hate God. They hate order. They hate beauty. You see that in the Olympics, right? Exactly as Bishop Vigano says. You see it there. It's ugly, and he mentions it too. I love his phrasing there, Bishop Vigano's. They love ugliness, which is evil. They love evil, and we see it. You look at the Olympic Games, I believe it was 2012 in Russia, and they had a ballroom dancing from I think Tchaikovsky or some Russian composer. It was beautiful, objectively. Why does our Western world not want that? Because they hate beauty. They hate God. And you see the phrase many times here in the last few weeks that God will not be mocked. God will have his justice. These people who mock God, no matter what, they'll pay for it. They will pay for it. Now, I think there's a question of what else should we do? Again, shouldn't be violent. Catholics should never be violent unless in defense. But should we tear down some of their demonic statues? Maybe. Interesting to see that there was a power outage in Paris. Let me see if I can find that. Sorry, I should have done that beforehand. This happened, I believe, the night after the opening ceremonies. Pretty amazing image. There was also a video going around of people singing the Ave Maria, the Lord's Ave Maria. That was not in Paris, though. That actually was in Lourdes. So that was fact checked. So I think there were many people who were sharing that on Facebook. Unfortunately, that was not actually Paris. But here, give me a second. I'm going to show you that there was a power outage. And I think it's like when Bergoglio was elected, right there, and then lightning struck St. Peter's twice, I believe. Here is what happened shortly after the opening ceremonies. This is Paris. All the power is out except, as you see over here on top of the hill, the Church of Sacre-Cœur, which is sorry, French guys, that's probably not how you say it. That is the Sacred Heart Church, which kind of looks over the city from a large hill. Beautiful. I've been there. Beautiful church. Unfortunately, surrounded by peddling immigrants. Sorry, but it's true. But a beautiful church, and God will not be mocked. And my last question before I go is, why is it that Bishop Vigano is being quoted here by Candace Owens fairly, and not Jorge Bergoglio? Did anyone hear it? Did he say anything about the Olympics? I didn't hear it. Seems like that's something that the Pope might want to comment on. You think? Mockery of Christ, mockery of the Last Supper, mockery of the human form, mockery of male and female, mockery of the family, mockery of everything beautiful. This is in Paris. It was once the France, the eldest daughter of the church. Not so much anymore. Someday. There are good people in France. Many, many good people. And I do think, as I've said many times, France is headed slowly in the right direction. The younger generations are actually generally waking up. And I think that this horror show with Macron and with the ceremonies in Paris are the death wail, of a death scream, whatever you want to call it, of a dying movement. I think the devil is scared. I think our world is in a bad place, but I think it's moving in the right direction. And that's what we have to be there for. In our countries, wherever we are, show that beauty publicly. That means having families. That means being virtuous yourself, making the sign of the cross, praying the rosary publicly. Don't be afraid to share what is good and what is beautiful. Wear suit coats, wear beautiful dresses. Be masculine, be feminine. That's the fight. In elections too, of course. But more so culturally. Shove it in their faces. That's what they do to us, right? Their disgusting mockery of everything good. Shove it in our faces. Let's shove it back. Let's shove in their faces that we have beauty. We have good. We are happy. They can't be. They can't. They got to be the most miserable people on earth. And I know there's stats where you see these people who are transvestites and whatnot are way more commonly committing suicide than normal people. And it's tragic. It's terrible. These people are not well, most of them. Maybe if they see us being normal and happy, maybe they'll change their minds. God willing. Everyone has hope. God, Christ says, he loves the sheep who was lost and is found again. Everyone can be lost and everyone can be found again, including us, including me, for goodness sake, of course. Let's pray for them. Let's pray for France. Let's pray that the eldest daughter of the church comes back to that church. Let's pray for Bishop Vigano. And hopefully we have leaders like him who we still need to wait and see a little bit. But that we have people in our society who others look up to. Candace Owens, for instance. True Catholics who stand up and say, enough. Enough.